What's cracking YouTube? It's your boy Jabari J, and I'm back again with another video. If you're new to this channel, I make content about my journey in the military in hopes to inspire, educate, and motivate people. Today, I'm going to be talking about 3 things that I would do different as a lieutenant if I had the experience that I have now back then. Number 1. The first thing I would do different as a lieutenant is getting to know my senior raider on a personal level. As a brand new lieutenant with no prior service experience, dealing with field grade officers may feel a bit intimidating, especially if you aren't being regularly mentored by one and don't interact with them on a regular basis. Sometimes, as young officers, we tend to forget that majors and the lieutenant colonels that we work for are human beings just like us. There were times my battalion commander would walk past me and I would freeze up as a second lieutenant. The few times I actually interacted with them as a lieutenant, it was very awkward. And that was mainly because I didn't know them as a person outside of the uniform, and they didn't know me. I guarantee you that your senior raider probably has similar interests as you, probably drinks just like you do. He's probably going through the same issues that you're going through. Bottom line up front, they're regular people. Get to know them. If you walk past their office and the door is open, walk right in and just talk to them. I guarantee you they ain't doing nothing, because if they were, the door would be closed. Battalion commanders actually leave their doors open on purpose. Why? It's called an open door policy, meaning they have to be readily available to speak to anyone that comes in there, and you don't gotta go through the S1 for an appointment. Yo, I used to actually wait for my S1 to schedule me during office hours. I send her an email, and I started to realize my scheduled meetings used to get rescheduled all the time because something else was the priority. It got to a point I just said F it, and I just walked right on in there. And I had no issues, right? Your battalion commanders, they're kind of on the older side, so they like to talk. So talk to them, right? If you at a unit event, approach them. You cannot wait for them to approach you, because it may not happen. Don't let the only FaceTime you have be a scheduled meeting. You need to know your boss, and your boss needs to know you. Otherwise, your officer evaluation report will show that they never knew you, and I guarantee you, your peers are talking to them. Number 2, the second thing I would have done differently as a lieutenant is signing my equipment down. When I was a platoon leader, I signed a hand receipt that made me responsible for over $2 million worth of government equipment. I ain't been in the Army for more than a couple of years, and here I am at the age of 24, responsible for millions and millions of dollars worth of property, and the Army does not pay you millions and millions of dollars. I made the mistake of not signing down my equipment to the privates that actually used it. And when they lost something, guess who had to pay for it? Me. There was one time I had a broken tent. This tent was never used. However, it was on the hand receipt. I tried to get supply to take it off, but transferring equipment in itself is a process, so it didn't happen. So one time we had this thing called clean sweep, which is a week where we do nothing but clean the base, right? My platoon was cleaning the motor pool, and during this time was cyclic inventories, which is a monthly inventory of the equipment that the commander has to do. So this month she was coming to inventory the tent. So I told my guys to grab the tent. They came up to me and said, "Oh, sir, I think I saw the tent in the LMTV with the trash going to the dump." I said, "Excuse me?" So I go tell the commander about the situation. I'm honest about it, so I'm thinking everything gonna be fine, right? Next month, boy, she hit me with a statement of charges for $600 for a tent I did not lose, man. That money was immediately out of my check that next pay period. Crazy thing, right? They actually found the tent in a Connex a couple months later, and the tent that they actually threw away was really just trash. The icing on the cake, right? I never got my money back. Moral of the story, man, sign your equipment down, because your soldiers need to have ownership of what the platoon owns. And if they're not financially responsible, they will not care. And you're gonna end up looking like a fool like me. All right, number 3. The third and final thing I would have done differently as a lieutenant is establishing a personal relationship with my fellow lieutenants, my peers. I would have hung out with my lieutenant peers more. I can count on one hand at how many times I actually hung out with my fellow platoon leaders outside of work over the course of 3 years at my last unit. The Army thrives off of relationships, and although you're not there to be liked, you will attract more flies with honey than with vinegar. You offer beers to your fellow lieutenants on a Friday after a long meeting. The next time you need an LMTV when yours breaks, I promise you, they will hook you up. If you be a bro, they'll be a bro. If you be a sis, they will be a sis. I watch my peers hang out with each other because, I see the photos on Instagram or whatever, and sometimes I did feel left out, and that isn't a good feeling. It's not a feeling that I want y'all to feel. All in all, just try to establish some sort of working relationship with your peers outside of asking for stuff. Do something together outside of the battalion footprint. Not saying you gotta be buddy-buddy, but at least be cordial to a point where if you need support at the job, they will support you, no questions asked. At some point, you will need each other to lean on. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if there's anything specific that you need me to make. I enjoy making these videos, and I hope that you're learning something, all right? Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.